Okay. Our last session, which is the much anticipated new venture competition. I think we have quite a few people outside that should probably come in. Let me find out if I can get some help. Should I go outside and have shalom?
Yeah, sure.
Or like having a bed? So this competition is a joint effort between AFTS and IBM. You will be hearing interesting pitches, and Leland will facilitate this. Very exciting.
Thanks, Eleni. You look like you just started, not like you've been doing this all day, and you'll have to tell me how you do that later. I hope everyone's had a good day. This is our last session and arguably our kind of most fun thing that we do. We certainly enjoy it the most. Our judges, VCs, are getting mic'd up now, and we're going to try to herd cats and get some folks in here. But as Eleni mentioned, this is our new venture competition. It's done with support of IBM. And the format's going to be, we're going to have a few VCs on stage, and then we're going to have 6 startups, pre-funded startups, come and pitch. We're going to move really quick. I know we're standing between you and a cocktail, so we'll keep this quick and lively. They're going to do a 2-minute pitch followed by 4 minutes Q&A with the judges. Once they're done, our judges will go backstage, they'll huddle up, they'll convene. At that point, we're going to hear from Dr. Melissa Sassi of IBM, who's going to kind of lay out what they're going to offer to our startups, to the winning startup. So just a sneak preview, the winning team will be placed in the IBM accelerator, and all the other teams, all the other startups will be shortlisted for that as well. And that accelerator, if you're not familiar with it, is a really interesting program through HyperProtect, IBM HyperProtect. And it offers about $120,000 in cloud credit, 2 years of technical support, 1 year of business mentorship. They'll do workshops before the accelerator in partnership with Village Capital. And we, as the Africa Fintech Summit, will also throw in $1,000 to the winning team. So we're excited to have our teams coming up. Hopefully our judges are... Alex, do you mind maybe moving the chairs? Do you mind moving the chairs? No, just like make a line. You understand what I mean? Sorry? Oh, we're good. Yeah. We're going to give 2 minutes to get some folks in here. I ask a poll question of the audience at the beginning of the day. I'll ask another one now. Is there any particularly favorite sessions today? Nick, how was the workshop? Good. Good. I really enjoyed the crypto panel. I know I started the day talking about crypto, but it was a super, super interesting session. ESG session was also great. Marvin Cole of Ovamba, how was your trade and fintech panel?
Well, I loved it. I think I did a good job.
If you didn't hear, Marvin said I did a good job.
This was no. First, thank you for this. I think the quality of the panel, also the guests, has been awesome. The questions have been great, and I'm just glad to participate again. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Marvin. All right. Chairs can just go diagonally. I think as we've got 5 VCs, and they just need to be kind of facing the pitch. 2 minutes to pitch, 4 minutes of Q&A. In the AV room, do you guys are all queued up for pitch decks? Hopefully that's a yes. Just a preview of our judges. We're going to have William Bao-Bean of China Accelerator, Barbara Yayi of Unicorn Capital, Elliot Pence of Tofino Capital, and Eunice Ajim of Ajim Capital. So we have kind of a nice variety of investors geographically, also in terms of thesis, check size. And we have a good variety of startups pitching. We're going to hear from F&K Savings Platform, Palia, Flerry, OnePass, and Green Exchange. 5, yeah. We're good to go? Do we have judges now? Go on. What do you want? Can you get Alex? Do you mind removing that chair? Great. Well, we're waiting for the last judge to get mic'd up. Maybe you guys can just introduce yourselves.
Sorry?
And introduce your fund.
I know, it's one of those days, isn't it?
Hi, my name is Barbara Yayi. I'm the founding managing partner of Unicorn Growth Capital. We're a fintech and DeFi fund.
Awesome.
It's more stressful. These VCs that never do this off.
Not very well.
I can.
Good Soil Venture Capital.
Yeah, I don't.
Good Soil Venture Capital. Did you know them?
Well, I'll go. Elliot Pence, I'm a general partner of Tofino Capital. We were founded today. We did our first close on our $10 million fund. So, thank you.
Those of us who pay attention to this space have been waiting for you to do this.
So have I.
What can you give us a sneak kind of behind the scenes about raising the fund and launching?
Yeah, oh, God. Yeah, I guess we're going to a happy hour after, so that is fitting. It's a very sad, arduous, long process. I mean, it took us 6 months. It was every day. It was hundreds of rejections. It was like a bunch of strategy that we totally screwed up, had to redo, a bunch of documents that we had to redo, like $40,000 in legal fees. Like, it's frankly not a fun conversation.
Well, it's interesting you say that because that's, parallels pretty well the process of fundraising for a startup.
Yeah.
So there probably is some camaraderie in that struggle.
Yes, the struggle is real.
Yeah.
Exactly.
William, we didn't get to you. Can you introduce yourself and your fund and your activities on the continent?
Yeah, sure. William Bean, I'm a general partner with SOSV. I've been doing tech investment 25 years. SOSV, we're a very active early stage investor. Actually, technically, I think we're the most active early stage VC in the world. And we invest hardware through our HACS program. IndieBio is our biotech program. And then I run internet and software. And so we invest globally in the early stage. And so we invest and then we deliver value to the startups that we invest in through our program. So for consumer startups, we're kind of unique in that we give free advertising, free customer acquisition to the companies that we invest in. And on the enterprise side, we're kind of like a one-stop shop for enterprise sales, especially to Asia, multinationals. So we're lightly engaged with about 230 multinationals. We're running 20K paid pilot and POC programs on and off with about 41 of them, and then 27 multinationals invested in our fund. So we try and be, money, but actually no one works with us for the money. It's more for the help.
Awesome. Well, I think we're about ready. Thank you all for doing this. And at the end of the day, I promise.
Somebody here, please.
Is your mic working?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it working now?
Yeah, now it's
Okay, great. So my name is Eunice Ajim, and I'm the founding partner at Ajim Capital. We're an early stage VC fund investing in specifically African tech companies. We Right check size is anything between 100 to 250, sector agnostic, but really look for software B2B and B2B2C. And right now, given that the African market is hot, there are a lot of startups coming up, we like to see skin in the game, so we look for post-MVP, post-traction, and a strong team before making an investment. But very similar to you, we recently did our first close as well, so it's been an interesting journey.
Awesome. Real quick, the format, and I'm going to be kind of militant about it. 2 minutes pitch, elevator, and then 4 minutes Q&A. And I'll be just as militant with you guys as them. And then once they're done, have you guys huddle up backstage, make a decision. At that point, we'll run a video of Dr. Marissa Sassi from IBM, who's going to call in and talk about the support IBM's going to offer the winner. And then we'll announce it, and take a picture, and go to a happy hour. Awesome. All right. You guys ready? Startups ready? Yeah. I'm going to call the first startup Abolaji Omatogun, who's pitching for F&K Savings.
Hi, everyone. Hi, good evening. I hope everybody is doing okay. My name is Abolaji, and I am a customer of F&K Savings. Unfortunately, couldn't make the trip here because of flight issues, so I'm kind of representing them as a customer, actually. So I am somebody who's an impulse buyer. I do not have a savings attitude, so because I often get a lot of requests from friends and family to send money there and here. So currently a customer of F&K Savings, basically a digital savings platform that helps people save money electronically or digitally. F&K is based in Ibadan, not Lagos, obviously. So they help both young people and people, tech and non-tech savvy people, to save electronically or digitally through their platform. They currently have about 55,000 users on the platform. I've done about $3 million in TPV volume, and currently we're looking to expand and raise seed funding at the moment. They also have about 33,000 businesses at the moment that currently service, providing credit facilities to these businesses in Ibadan. The company is also trying to have some software and hardware product that they also send to their to these businesses, helping them to scale and grow, take payments for their services that they provide. So right now, like I said, they're trying to raise a pre-seed round of about $500,000 to $1 million, and I'm happy to take your questions.
Perfect timing. Nice. How about it?
I'll ask maybe the first. So what makes your savings product different from other savings products? So
many of these digital savings platforms out there often focus on the tech savvy individuals. F&K mostly work with both the tech and non-tech savvy platform users, especially working with the market women in Ibadan, for example. So about 50% of their customers are the offline market women, and then 50% are online tech-savvy users at the moment. And also, they've been in this business for a while, have a lot of trust from customers and the that they presently provide their services to.
What sort of financial services products beyond savings? So, like, they save their money, but what's the point in general?
So if you keep saving money, and again, I feel like saving is very important, actually. Because I personally have an issues with, I don't know how to save well, so savings is important. Also is the fact that apart from saving this money is also invested. So they get a return on investments on their savings, usually between 10 to 12%, which is higher than what the traditional banks would give you. They also provide credit facilities, like I said, so if you have customer at F&K Savings for a period of time, you qualify for some lending facilities. So you're able to borrow money from the company. The market women, for example, do take loans from them, and they pay an interest on those loans. And then, of course, it's how they also generate money for themselves as a business.
I have a few questions. First, is it a B2B or a B2C strategy?
So they have a B2C, which is peer-to-peer, not B2C, which is basically helping people to save money. And they also have a B2B, in this case, helping the business, your market women, for example, to save and also facilitate business. So they have our financial management service also to provide to these market women who run their accounting on paper. So they could also help them, facilitate, make this process faster by digitizing the whole bookkeeping process.
My next question is how is the savings done? How do you actually make money? Is it lending? Is it putting on the market? What's the?
Yeah. So how is savings done? So they have an API that they integrate into people APIs where customers. It's easy for you to sign up on their platform and then sign up your bank account, and then it automatically get a deduction directly from your bank account. Second is also they have an agent network where they also go to the market women, for example, to get some of this money from the market women. I think thirdly is also they have more like an ambassadors network where students, for example, or people who also fall within their networks move around to get money from people who like to save. And there's also the peer-to-peer and peer-to-peer side of things. So, for example, if you're an F&K savings customer and you're in a location and you have another F&K savings customer who's willing to exchange a particular sum of amount, they could pair you together and you could conduct a transaction, basically.
All right, 30 seconds. Squeeze one more in?
So in terms of your customer acquisition, how are you attracting them, and what's the thing that gets them over the line?
So the company has been bootstrapping all along. Customer acquisition has been heavily on customer referrals. Again, I think they spend about less than $1 on customer acquisition, heavily reliant on the network effect that they bring as a company. So, like I said, I think they are probably the largest fintech in Ibadan. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Am I on a hot mic? Yeah, I am. Great. Our next startup is Mamadov Balde pitching for Palia. Mamadov.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Hi.
Quick question, Mamadov. Did you have a pitch deck or no?
They told us to not have a pitch deck.
Okay, good. I knew that.
Cool. Okay. All right. Hi, my name is Mamadou, co-founder and CEO of Palia. We are building all-in-one payment platform which allows African merchants in Francophone West Africa to accept multiple forms of payment regardless of their mobile money network provider. When we travel to West Africa, we face the same issues that billions of Africans deal with on a daily basis. Multiple segmented payment providers, long wait time just to pay for services in cash, and also bad customer service with banks. To address this issue, we created Palia Wallet, all-in-one payment platform that enables merchants to actually take advantage of mobile money. With our platform, merchants can now accept all kinds of mobile money payments, but also bank account payments and also any kind of digital payments. Similarly, merchants will be able to actually pay other vendors digitally and able, with our platform, have access to an analytics dashboard where they can actually gain and track their daily sales, build credit data so that they can have stuff to present to banks. Merchants no longer have to actually worry about integrating with multiple mobile money services just so that they can service their customers. Now, with our platform, we are helping Africa transact digitally in a way that they have never done it before, and we want you to join us to build an inclusive financial technology that can impact the billions of Africans across the globe. Thank you.
Perfect timing.
Question for me: what value are you providing the merchants compared to other guys that are doing this sort of aggregator model of helping merchants, take money from mobile money and all these different payments? How are you how are you competing with them? And then also, are you solving the issue around instant settlements for merchants? Is there any other value that you're giving them in general?
Yeah. So, as you know, in Africa, mobile money has pretty much taken over compared to banks, where merchants usually in the US or in Europe, usually they have bank account. But in Africa, mobile money providers have taken on that role. So there's more or less like an instant settlement. The minute you send them the payment, they already have the money. So in Francophone West Africa, there are actually currently not that many players doing what we're trying to do, which is like integrating all the different mobile money providers so that like merchants have an online platform, not only to accept them, but also able to send their e-commerce website so they can reach a better audience, right? More people actually have cell phone. Now they can actually order from their cell phone and pay online without having to actually have the payment happen outside of the platform. So within the single platform, you could browse and shop and pay, versus right now, how merchants do businesses, they post stuff on Facebook or WhatsApp, and now after you say, okay, I like this product, it's like, how do you pay me? It's like, oh, now you could either send me cash or you could send it to my mobile money, right? And then merchants have an issue reconciling that transaction with what they sell. But with our platform, since it's already like an Android-based app, they have it, right? At any point in time, they can say, I sold this much, this is where the money is coming from, and at the end of every month, they have something telling them this is their business model in terms of like how much revenue they're making. And I mentioned the aspect of the credit, right? So merchants don't go to the banks. It's a merchant's name to go to the bank because they'll never get a loan. With our product, they'll show banks actually how much money they're making, and bank will leverage that data to actually provide them other financial product.
Thanks.
Turn to uptake. Like, so when you have a merchant, you sign them up. How many of them are active doing transactions like daily, weekly, monthly?
So we started this year. Right now, we're working with our beta customers to fully understand their pain point. So one of the pain points they told us is that cash is very heavy in Africa, 95% of our transactions in cash. They were like, how can we have a platform that can actually allow us not only to accept digital payment, but also track our daily sales for people using cash? We're like, we can build that for you so that like any point of sale system you have here in the US, when you have a cash transaction, you could log it. And it's something that like your store manager cannot really, once the transaction is noted, is stored, right? Like you cannot remove the transaction, so give you transparency, right? So what we're trying to do with that is that with all the different payments they have, is that they have the ability to have like a one overview all on this one single platform, because we're trying to bring transparency and allow them to be more digital. And within the app now, when you have that, merchants are empowered to actually understand their business, right? The economy behind how they're selling, who they're selling to, and if the same number is paying you multiple times at during specific time of the year, and when they come in a different time, you could say, usually you come at this time, but now you came in early. Maybe you have a different need now, right? So they turn out, we're gonna sell them some business insight to say, how can you offer them better products? And now they don't have that insight.
All right, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
I'll mention if you look on the event app that there's a poll, and we're going to count. We're going to have our judges consider your vote. So consider yourself a fifth judge, and I'm kind of specifically speaking to our virtual audience as well, who's tuning in. All right, our next startup is Hio pitching for OnePort365.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hio Sola-Usidame.
Sorry to interrupt. Make sure you get in the mic so our virtual audience can hear you.
All right, so my name is Hio Sola-Usidame. I'm a co-founder at OnePort365. At OnePort365, what we say is we're streamlining trade, cross-border trade for African traders. That's African merchants who move cargo, mostly containers, across borders. And the easiest way I actually use to describe it is this. There are 4 major problems these guys tend to have. A booking process. Takes 10 to 14 days to book cargo to cross borders within Africa. A payment process, they're having to pay as much as 7 different vendors using different channels. A documentations problem, it's a lot of paperwork, pen and paper. And then the last thing, it revolves around visibility. only 20% of cargo moving in Africa have visibility on them. What we've been able to do is streamline a lot of those processes, starting with the booking process. So we've cut down a 10 to 14 days booking process into a 15 seconds process. What we say basically is we've built like an Expedia for cross-border trade, right? So 30 years ago, you're booking an airline ticket, you had to go to the airport, stand in a queue all day, and get a ticket, right? Now, when you do something similar, you go on Expedia. That's what we've done for African traders. On the payments, we integrated with Paystack. These guys can pay with a credit card. They can pay up to $20,000. On the visibility, we can offer 100% visibility on the cargo. And the last thing revolves around documentations. They can print the bill of lading right from their offices and all that. We started 2020. My background was actually as a traditional forwarder before that. Started at OnePort365 2020. Year on year, growth has been by 140%. We've grown customer base from 5 enterprise accounts to 50 plus enterprise accounts. Revenue has grown by 7x roughly, and we're backed by the likes of SBI, Flexport, which is the biggest player in this space, and Toyota, really. So it's been fantastic leading OnePort, and we're excited about what we're doing for cross-border traders in Africa. Thank you.
Great. Everybody's being really good about the 2 minutes. That's right on.
What's the biggest problem for scaling even faster?
Oh, biggest problem still revolves around infrastructure. That's a major problem. Integration has actually not been a problem. I mean, when we started, one of our biggest problems was we actually didn't have enough salespeople. So, we go into meetings and people are like, does this really exist? Basically, and we just didn't have people to actually follow up in those meetings. So adaptation has actually been really good, but infrastructure has actually been a challenge, but we're getting ways around that right now.
You have a cash flow cycle problem, like we invested in this space in the Middle East, and sometimes the customers pay sometime, and then you have to pay the driver kind of upfront. So there's usually a cash flow cycle challenge.
Yeah, there's a cash flow cycle challenge, but as much as 70% of our transactions are actually upfront payments. So that kind of solves it for us. So what we do is we either work with the guys who provide short-term financing, who can provide some level of financing, or they're actually setting transactions whereby we can actually provide trade finance ourselves. So yes, it can be a problem. The same time, also, dollar fluctuations can actually be a problem, especially in Africa, all right? Because what we do is we make it accessible for these guys to, we want to encourage them to make payments. So all our payables, about 90% of our payables are actually in local currency. So in Nigeria, it's in Naira, in Kenya, it's in shillings, in Ghana, it's in cedis. And if you understand, for example, Nigeria, the Naira to the dollar, you wake up one morning and you're like, what's going on here, basically, right? But what we've been able to do is actually ensure we actually have a bit of a stopgap that provides us a level of protection in terms of fluctuations.
I had one more question if we have time. Is it, when you say cross-border, do you mean intra-Africa or within, or to Africa and out of Africa?
So to Africa and out of Africa. Okay. So about 60+% of our shipments have been originating or destined to China, Asia. So you get a lot of raw materials leaving Africa, yeah, and a lot of equipment and finished goods basically coming into Africa. But we also have a lot of shipments that are intra-Africa. So we work with the likes of Dangote, who produce cement across Africa. We ship their cement bags from places like Lagos to Point Nord in the Congo or to Sierra Leone. And yeah, so we get those shipment routes as well. And then we ship to other places also in East Africa and all that. So as long as it's originating from Africa to Africa, within Africa, we take care of it.
I'm actually curious, is it purely software, or do you have a combination of like software and then hardware where, you help some of the logistics?
So it's software, right? We utilize hardware as well, okay? So I'll give you an example. I say there's virtually no visibility on the cargo moving into Africa when it's on the back of a truck. So what we actually do is we actually use detachable trackers on those containers. Virtually those drivers don't know where it is. And the first time we tried it out, and what tends to happen is these drivers tell you, oh, I'm in location A. Well, he's 1,000 miles behind, literally, having a drink or something, right? And we told him, you're not there. And he literally he was about to pass out, like, what's going on? How do you know where I am, basically, right? So we track that cargo using detachable content, detachable trackers on there. It's heavily software, But the reality of it is, in Africa, it's not. You can't solve this problem with pure software. It's not there yet. So yeah, one of the things I tell investors is, don't let anyone deceive you. It's all magic. No, it's not there yet, basically, right? So there's a level of human interaction, right? There's also a high level of software involved in it.
Why is Flexport not in Africa if this is such a good business?
Well, they started, so there are two key trade routes globally, right? So this is what I've done for years, right? And
Make this one 15 seconds.
I'll wrap it up. There are two key trade routes. So there's a trans-Pacific and there's a transatlantic. Now, those two key routes probably make up as much as 75% of global trade, right? So Africa is probably about 10, 11%.
Got it.
Right? So when you look at Flexport is a 7-year-old business or something. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Hio.
Thank you.
Next up, Orla Enright, pitching for Green Exchange.
Hi, thank you very much. So I begin now, I take it? Yes, so thank you for having the opportunity to allow me to pitch. So I'm building out the Green Exchange. So what the Green Exchange is a first virtual exchange of its type, focusing on corporate green bond issuance in Africa. So how we work is we facilitate the issuance of corporate green bonds in Africa, and we also facilitate the investment into said green bonds. So what we're looking to capitalize on is the global green bond boom that Africa has missed out on. It's boomed in LATAM, but in Africa there's only been 12 corporate green bonds issued full stop. It contributes 0.2%. So what we look to do is facilitate the investment from the DFIs, so such as the CDC group, the IFU in Copenhagen, even the IFC as well here, that need the opportunity to diversify their portfolio into new fixed income instruments, but they don't have the opportunity to invest in Africa. So how we work is we facilitate the investment into the green bond on our platform. So we're building out the tech. We currently raise 250K. We're now raising 2 million. And our business model is we take a 2.5% fee of all funds raised on the platform. So what we are really trying to capitalize on is driving climate capital that is so apparent and it's so liquid in Europe and in the US now into Africa. Yes, and my background was I was ex-VC for 4 years. Before that, I was a fixed income trader. It's a market I know very well. I was trading on the Eurobonds and then investing in fintech startups on the ground in Ghana, where now our office is. Yeah, I want to keep it as short and sweet as possible, so I'll allow questions to let me to fill in.
Great.
Thank you.
How do you deal with regulations? Are these bonds regulated on an exchange, or is this sort of outside the regulations of?
Yeah, good question. So we work heavily with the SEC. There's of course regulations when you're doing fixed income instruments, especially on green bonds. So green bonds have to be verified by the Climate Bonds Initiative. So we work with a third party who then verifies the bond as green. So what we do is we have a deal team based on Ghana, in Accra, where our team is and where my office is, who work closely with the company CIO, CEO, to get the bond ready for issuance, to verify it as green, so then it can trade on the platform and then it can be invested into. So to date, we've got a huge waiting list. There's been phenomenal traction on the ground in Ghana. That's our ideal market entry just because of the ease of doing business in Ghana in comparison to other countries, as I'm sure everyone is aware of. So what we do is we work closely with the companies, get them ready for issuance. So to date, we've got a wait list of 61 companies that want to issue green bonds. So when you're raising debt on the continent in Ghana, this is before the inflation of the cedi, you're paying 16 to 21%. When you're raising debt on a green bond, it's 4 to 6%. So it's highly attractive for the companies wanting to issue green bonds. And obviously, Africa's got a lack of infrastructure for climate financing. They need to issue the green bonds to mitigate the risks of climate change. Africa is historically always going to be the most isolated continent for financing, and geographically it's going to always be the worst affected for climate change. So there's a real need for this platform, and we are the first to bring it to market.
How much of a bottleneck is the verification service?
How much does it cost?
No, how much of a bottleneck is it? If you can't get verified, you can't issue the bond.
Yeah, pretty much. You need to get verified, so you need to pass that application process just to issue on our platform. So we work with third parties on that.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Sam Badu, pitching for Flerry.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Go for it.
All right. My name is Sam Badu. I am the founder and CEO of Flerry. So Flerry's story and my story is very much like a lot of the people here. You get the opportunity to leave Accra, to leave Lagos, and move to America. You go to school, you think everything is about to really get great. You get your first paycheck, and along with the paycheck comes a call from your village, from that aunt you haven't heard of in maybe 10 years. And this is when your life really starts. You start to realize that as part of your journey here, you also made a journey with all of the people that depend on you. And these responsibilities start to define your life and how you're going to live it. For a lot of people, the best alternative is we start to send money back home, money transfers. And as we do that, we really think back and see where is that money going to, and then it becomes our life. Now the reality is you don't know where it's going to, you don't know how that money is being used and what it's going to be used for if you even want that. And that's why Flerry exists. We allow diasporans and global migrants to be able to control the remittances that they're sending, ensuring that it goes exactly where they intend, starting with healthcare. Our first product, Flerry Health, aggregates providers of care and services of care across the continent, Ghana, Nigeria, Zambia, Zimbabwe for now, and allows diasporans to purchase healthcare plans for their families back home. What we're doing is the first step of allowing diasporans to control their funds and the work that they're doing abroad, allowing themselves to have an actual future and a chance of financial wellness. Thank you.
Great.
So how does Flerry make money? Especially, I've seen your pricing online. I was curious, how can you afford to help your family back home, in the healthcare with such a small monthly fee?
So we're building an ecosystem. Essentially, for Flerry Health, which is our first product, we're aggregating different providers of care. Companies like AXA Mansard, Avon, Nationwide Medical, who for many, many years have been serving local Africans. They already have products, they already have services. We put those services together and allow you to buy it here. Now, while that might seem like a lot of money for someone living in Ghana or Nigeria, it is essentially quite affordable for someone living in the diaspora and allows you to control that. We make money 10% from the providers who are on our platform as a platform fee, and then we make a small service charge that is paid by the immigrant for whom we're creating this experience.
What is your customer acquisition strategy, given that you're targeting Africans in the diaspora for now?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So 2 ways that we look at that. In the beginning, our biggest challenge is building trust and credibility. How do you build trust and credibility with a group that is highly skeptical, worried about fraud, worried about scams, and so many other things, right? We go through the people that have trust by proxy. So we talk to churches, we go into the immigrant associations, we're on the ground. So you take Chicago, for example. We work with the Ghana National Council in Chicago, which has 50,000 Ghanaians living in the Chicagoland area under its umbrella. We use these organizations to get to the people that we need to get to. And then there's the second part. After we've done a lot of this work, we look at our B2B2C strategy. For many, many years, since Western Union, everybody is familiar with sending money through mobile money, transfers and all of that. We want to allow them, to allow their customers to be able to access our health exchange and direct the flow of those remittances that they've been sending for many years into the actual plans that their families need.
So what is the, aside from health, where does the money usually go?
Great question. Lots of different places. So that funeral that is going to cost an arm and a leg, it's going to the education of your loved ones back home, your uncle's son that he never seems to be able to pay school fees for. It's going to go towards your cousin's wedding. It's going to go towards paying rent. It's going to go towards you wanting to buy a house back home, and you'll buy that land 3 times over because it's sold to multiple people. That's essentially where money is going from the diaspora. Thank you.
And I just want to make sure I know you're starting with Herb, this is not available on the platform yet, right?
Yes. So, like we said, starting with healthcare because it's the biggest excuse everybody hears all the time. It's always life and death. It's very hard to refuse. But after that, we start to look into things like, why shouldn't we have life insurance for my parents who live back home who inevitably are going to pass and will become a big expense, right? Why should we not be able to pay schools directly for my uncle's son so he doesn't spend that money?
All right, perfect timing. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Eunice, I'm curious, you knew about this company. Was that through your own diligence, or have you done homework for this session? Or?
We've been speaking.
Cool. You might have to recuse yourself. All right, last but not least, another Sam, not to be confused with the previous one. Sam Eze, Our Pass.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eze Samuel. I'm the founder and CEO of Our Pass, Africa's fastest one-click checkout for commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, checkout is broken. From the large corporate, the very big e-commerce business that has the financial capacity to build, run, maintain, and operate a large business, to the young entrepreneur who doesn't have that financial capacity but is able to sell on social media, like the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, amongst others. How about that father or mother that owns a store on the street in the open market? All he or she knows about is, oh, give me my money, take the product. Oh, I've received the credit alert, you can take your product. How about the young girl, the young boy that hawks on the street of Lagos, Nigeria, and in Africa? Our Pass is the fastest, the most secure, easy way to help businesses to sell and help them accept payments from their customers in one click. We launched out on the 10th of September last year, raised $1.1 million in pre-seed funding, got into Texas Toronto Accelerator Program. To further validate that one-click checkout works in Africa, we have done over $11 million in transaction volume. At the moment, we're at about $10,000 MRR, right? And also, we have been able to secure a partnership with the largest merchant aggregator in Africa, giving us access to over 600,000 merchants to power checkouts for their merchants so their customers can as well pay them in one click. Integration is ongoing as we speak. We've also launched out a new feature called headless checkout, which means people can now buy from sellers just from reading an article without having to go to Instagram or go to their website. I'm reading an article, I love the bag, I pay in one click.
Thanks, Sam.
So just to be clear, your value proposition is really on the sort of last mile side, where you help the customer, you help do the fulfillment part so that they get their goods and service. Because on the payment side, you're using payment aggregators. So where's the value proposition? It sounds like it's just the last mile piece, right?
No, not exactly, right? So what we do at Our Pass, basically, number one, for e-commerce, when you look at commerce first, there are different channels. Or let me break them down into 4 categories. Number 1, e-commerce. 2, social commerce. 3, the offline commerce. And we crafted out a different channel called like the hawkers, like those who hawk. For e-commerce, 75% of carts are abandoned yearly, accounting for like a huge percentage of missed amount of revenue, right? Due to the fact that consumers are faced with having to create multiple accounts, they go through having to like feel like their personal information over and over again across different platforms. 3, security. But with Our Pass, you have your information pre-filled. You can check out just in one click, thereby helping these businesses increase sales conversion rates overall. For social commerce, these are people who sell on social media. Now we've been able to create different channels through our tools to enable them now from their system, push out their product via articles, emails. Just the way you send out your newsletter, your customer would read it, but you're redirecting them to a website. That way you're creating limitations, but I can read this stuff and I can buy it instantly from a video, from an article, and from emails. In the next few months, we'll be rolling out that of ads, which is like for the Twitter ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, as the case. So you're looking at the ads, you love what you're buying, more or less like you love the footwear you're putting on right now. You click there and you buy it, right? For the offline play, right? We have like the QR codes and as well the business account. So customers can get there and scan and pay. And these things I'm telling you works in less than 15 seconds. Payment is made. Fully tested. And for the hawkers, we're deploying something really new as well. We're going to be leveraging a part of USSD, those who hawk on the street. Now, a lot of people are becoming tech savvy. Initially, I used to like carry cash, but right now I don't carry cash again. But I still want to buy from those guys because that's actually a super huge market. Look at the likes of Coca-Cola, all the FMCGs. Hawking is actually a major and huge market for them when it comes to like that very channel of trade, right? So we're looking to also explore that. By the way, we're actually the fastest one-click checkout for commerce. So the goal is keep unlocking every single opportunity we can find across all channels of trade. Thanks.
Great. Nice one. Thank you very much. You know, I think if we did a transcript from all the proceedings today and did a word cloud, offline might be the biggest word that comes up. All right. I'll ask you all to huddle back here in the green room. Maybe nominate somebody to kind of say your pick. And while we'll do that, we have Dr. Marissa Sassi. I believe I'm speaking to the eye in the sky there. I think we're ready to patch her in. She's calling in from Florida. Dr. Sassi is the founder and global head of the IBM HyperProtect Accelerator. They're supporting the pitch competition, and they'll be offering quite a number of services and products to the winner of this competition. So if we're ready, we can patch in Dr. Sassi.
All right, super. How's this? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
I can. Excellent. It's working. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Melissa Sassi, and as mentioned, I am the founder and global head of the IBM HyperProtect Accelerator. And I'm really excited to not only hear the pitches today, but offer up some interesting opportunities within our program. So for the winner, we will be giving out a space within our Friends of HyperProtect program. What that includes is $120,000 in cloud credits that will be used over a one-year period. Obviously, there's a catch. IBM has a cloud. They need to be interested in wanting to use our products and services. In addition to that, we'll provide 2 years of technical mentorship that helps startups kind of figure out their technical journey, their architecture in terms of the future, utilization of AI, machine learning, blockchain, whatever might be relevant. We've got lots of master inventors and distinguished engineers with all kinds of patents and a vast amount of experience all over the world, ready to work with you and your team. And then it will also include 1 year of business mentorship that's orchestrated through one of our collaborators, Village Capital, which is a social good startup accelerator. Many of you may or may not have heard of them, but they are absolutely amazing. And we've got a really wonderful family of 100 startups that have been invited into our program since we launched in 2019. We're growing our cohort or our family to 145 this year. For those that do not, let's say, get the first place slot, we will be automatically adding them to our short list of startups. No guarantees on what happens, but we encourage everyone who is part of this initiative to apply. I'm gonna pop up a slide right now, hopefully, and I hope my AV person will let me share my screen. If not, let's see. It's not working. That's how it always works. That said, for those of you who may be interested in the program and may not be participating as a contestant in the competition, I have two individuals who are sitting there in DC with you now. So I'm not sure if those of you know David Washira and Hemstone from Wayapay, hailing from Kenya, which thanks to them, I'm wearing this bracelet from Kenya that I got in Nairobi with Hempstone. They will be at happy hour. They're there to answer any questions, but you can also hear from an African entrepreneur about what has the journey been like for them? What kind of support have they received from IBM? For me, I don't want to just be a startup's cloud vendor. I want to go to market together so that we can enable you to build, scale, and thrive. So I'm hearing that I can share my screen now. There we go. Perfect. So hopefully you all can see that. For anyone who is interested, here's the application deadline, May 31st. And then here is the link to apply. And as I mentioned, winner gets a slot, assuming they're interested. And those that may not have gotten first place but presented on the stage, will be shortlisting them again, should they be interested. Thank you very much. I wish I could be there today, but hopefully Hempstone and David Wishira are holding down the fort and there to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your Africa FinTech Summit.
Melissa, thank you very much. We really enjoy working with you. We did a boot camp a couple of years back with you in Village Capital that was super fun. It was led by Ashley Smith, who's out here. So we look forward to doing it again, and we're sorry we're going to miss you at the happy hour, but we'll raise a glass to you, but we appreciate it.
I expect selfies, so I'm counting on David and Hempstone to capture some pictures of y'all doing cheers, so thank you for that.
Awesome. Can David and Hempstone, are they in the house? Raise your hand. Yeah, nice. All right.
Awesome, good, I hope so, because I did volunteer them, and they just found out about 2 minutes ago.
Amazing. Nimble, our sector is a nimble sector.
There you go.
And I'm frankly amazed and pleasantly surprised that this has worked so well. It's great we get to see you and hear you, and you shared your screen, and that's amazing. Melissa, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. If you haven't voted in the poll on the app, you probably have about 10 more seconds to do that. I see some people quickly picking up their phones, so I won't announce the polls until. Boom. One more. Okay. So just quickly, the poll results. Someone over here just voted for OnePort. So OnePort, let's see. Our Pass is slightly ahead. Gosh, it's really close. Palea, Flerry, and OnePort are all basically neck and neck for second place. Literally neck and neck for second place now. Gone. Okay. OnePort and Our Pass, we're going to call it there. OnePort and Our Pass are both leading the way. All right, people are voting really late. OurPort by just one vote at this point. All right, hopefully our VCs are ready to announce the winner. Are the VCs ready to announce the winner? I don't know. I think they escaped to the bar, maybe. All right, we'll keep the poll open for just one more minute while they vote. Yeah, it looks like OnePort is edging ahead in our poll. Hey VCs, we're ready for you guys. Barbara's gone. We'll have you. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have you up here anyway. We'll do a picture afterwards. Sure. Yeah.
And the winner of America's Next Top Model, I'm just kidding, is... no, I mean, look, I think everybody did a great job today. These are all very compelling companies, and we had a really good conversation about each and every one of them. But I think the one we were really excited about, and we saw a huge market opportunity, was OnePort. The logistics space is really big, And there's a lot of digitization to do in that space, and we think that he has a really good strategy around solving a lot of the key problems in that industry, and there's a huge opportunity around financial services that we can see a lot of opportunity in. So that was really it. We're really excited about OnePort, and I don't know, does he win anything?
I know all of this is kind of superficial compared to the due diligence that really happens in an investment. But if any of these startups were coming into your office asking for your hard-earned equity, very hard-earned capital, instead of IBM services, would you have any words of advice?
For each of them?
High level, anything that stood out to you that you would say?
So I'll just talk about OnePort. You guys should talk as well. I think I would dig deeper into unit economics, like how exactly are they making money, and the cash flow cycle and all of that. So that's OnePort. There's a lot more diligence that we would do, but I think high level, we were excited about the opportunity. Do you guys want to talk about other companies? So I'm not the only one.
The only other thing that I would mention is the problem they thought they were going to solve going in, and the problem that they actually are solving, and being very specific about what that problem is.
Great, super helpful.
Yeah, so we just have a very simple format. It's like, what's the problem? What's the solution? Why they're better than anybody else? And then traction. And then usually there's an ask, but it's like, give me money. But if you can stick to that, it makes it a lot easier.
I noticed that there wasn't an ask. Is that something, an elevator pitch that you would expect to hear, or in a 2-minute pitch? That's not appropriate.
Not in a 2-minute pitch.
I always put it in, yeah. All right, one final word of advice?
Yeah, I mean, I think, building and scaling a startup is hard, and I think all the founders that pitch today, I think they all have a value proposition. They are targeting very different markets, and my one advice would be keep pushing. It is very, very hard journey, and the ones that actually don't give up and keep pushing, actually make it.
Well, first, let me thank all of you. Really appreciate you taking the time to do this. And help me in congratulating the winner of the 2022 New Venture Competition, OnePort.
Does he get money?
Sorry?
Does he get money?
He gets money. So Africa Fintech Summit is going to give you $1,000. IBM is going to put you in their accelerator.
Thank you very much.
Our capital's hard-earned too. You guys can just join us. We'll do a picture.
That's okay.
Hey, Barbara.
Oh. Sorry.
Awesome. A great way to end. Eleni, I don't know if you have a word prepared, but I just wanted to take one moment to thank all of our sponsors who made this possible. Thank everyone who traveled here from very far away. This is hard work for everybody involved, and we really, really love doing this and seeing you. So our next summit will be in Cape Town. We hope to see you all in Cape Town. It's going to be in November. Stay tuned for an exact date. And we're really looking forward to kind of layering on some activities into that summit. Thank you all very much. I'll pass it back to Eleni.
Thanks, Leland. This is it. So thank you all so much. We'll see you in Cape Town in November. And next year again here in DC in April. We do have drinks outside, music. Thank you so much to all the sponsors. It was a fantastic event. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Take care. See you soon.